you doing? I'm Eva, and I channel videos that are guidance and advice from God so that we can go straight to the source of wisdom and receive the direction that we need to go in, which is always going to be the highest when we go direct to source. So this video, I think, is something very important because it's about what is the difference between your higher self and your soul. And I feel like I never really knew the difference until I started to really go deep on my spiritual journey, my spiritual initiation with God. And it was really through the experiences that I had in rebirthing myself and healing myself that I got a really intimate experience of my soul and my higher self. Very, very different. And both essential. And if you don't know the distinction, I feel like it's really, really important if you're really, going deep with yourself and wanting to rebirth yourself. It's essential that you understand that there is a difference, and the important aspects are going to come through when I channel God. So I allow God to come through me and we go straight into it. Hi, I'm God. I come through Eva as a very powerful guidance tool for you. If you're watching this video, you haven't seen any other videos, that's okay, very much. I want you to have a relationship with me. And one of the ways you're able to have a relationship with me is by entertaining the idea that maybe I am much more personable to you. And also, maybe you've had a relationship with me from the aspect of your soul, and you've had a relationship with me from the aspect of your higher self, which is going to be very, very different. Okay, so on the one hand, we have your soul, and your soul is very much the energy that incarnates over every single lifetime. And so your soul is made up of all these different experiences. And sometimes what I do is when you incarnate, I may not give you access to all of your soul because your soul's had so many lifetimes. Whether you're a younger soul or you're an older soul, if you're incarnated right now, you've most probably had at least 50 lifetimes. Yeah, there are occasions now where we're going to have new souls coming in who haven't had any incarnations, and of course that does happen. But if you're incarnated right now, you most probably have had a good number of lifetimes, and with that comes a lot of experience, and with that experience can come, as you know, a lot of difficult times, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hurts. And so what I tend to do for this incarnation and for a lot of incarnations is I don't bring through your entire soul right from the beginning of the incarnation. So what comes into your body is maybe part of your soul, or it could be all of your soul. It really depends. But if you're very old, I just bring through some of you until you've done more spiritual work. And I do that because, number one, if you're unhealed, you're going to find that it can be very traumatic to be here until you're healed, until you're fully healed and making good decisions and you're in alignment. So it's really very much just a protection. If you're a very old soul, I don't bring through all of your soul right from the beginning. And although that can make you feel a little bit weakened, it's a protection that means you don't get traumatized more and more and more. Yeah, you don't have all of your soul in your body, so you're not getting traumatized. But you still have your soul, just not incarnated in your body until you decide, I'm going to bring through all of my soul. And that's the decision that we make together at the right time. But your soul has all these different experiences. So there's no reason why you can't tap into your soul, that you can't channel from your soul. And so you'll get recognitions of people from other lifetimes. Sometimes it's from your soul, that you're going to feel a repulsion to someone, or you're going to find it very difficult to maybe be yourself because you have many lifetimes of every time I showed up as myself, I got killed, or I got this, I got that. So that's all your soul. And so when you're healing, you really want to heal your soul. You really want to heal all the lifetimes. It's your soul that's going to say, when I feel safe, I'm going to start dropping back into my body because I know I'm going to have a good experience here because I had so many lifetimes maybe that were very traumatic, very difficult. So that's very much why a lot of people find that when they go through trauma, the soul will jump out the body, and in a way it's a little bit of a protection, but then it opens you up to being a little bit of an empty vessel, and then you're not really in the experience, and a lot of people are checked out. So when you find yourself, okay, I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm scrolling on social media and I don't really know why I'm doing that, it's because you're not in your body. Your soul said, no, I can't be here for Instagram. Yeah, I can guarantee your soul says, I don't want to be here just to be on Instagram all day. That's very painful for your soul to say, I'm going to just be on Instagram all day. So your soul most probably is not in your body fully when you're doing that. Okay, so that's a soul. Loss of trauma needs to be healed. Some souls are older than others. So if you're a very old soul, you have more work to do. If you're a young soul, you're finding it a different type of difficulty with the work because maybe you don't have as much experience, or maybe you're a very old soul and you only have part of your energy incarnated here. Then as you heal, you're going to have more of you incarnating on earth, and it's going to be such a refreshing feeling to be realizing that actually I'm much more powerful than I realized. I just had to take my time to heal all of my soul before coming back into my body. Okay, so it's the soul that tends to jump out. Then we have the higher self. The higher self, sometimes you may say, I want to connect with my higher self, or I want to channel my higher self, or I want to have my higher self in my body. Now, your higher self has never been harmed, never been hurt. So your higher self is very much the part of you that knows that you're God, that has a relationship with God. Your soul may or may not have an experience of God when incarnated, but definitely when you're in between lifetimes, you're going to have a relationship with God. Okay? But the higher self always knows it's one with God all the time. Okay? The higher self, never been harmed, never been hurt. So when you're channeling from your higher self, you're going to feel very empowered, very powerful. But what I would like for you to consider is that it's possible when you're doing spiritual work that you actually can start to become your higher self. You can start to become the part of you that has never been harmed, never been hurt. And that part of you is very powerful. But if you skip to, I'm just going to become the higher self, and you forget about the soul, then it's a little bit of a shortcut that can get you a little bit of mileage or feeling very powerful when you're channeling and being one with your higher self. But eventually you're going to have to come back and bring the soul into your body as well and do the healing work. So a little bit of a shortcut there for you when you feel I need to have a lot of power. I bring down my higher self, never been harmed, never been hurt. I don't have any issues. Versus I'm actually going to solidly do the work and have my soul here as well, because that's when you're going to open up to all your past life gifts. Okay, all the talents and abilities that you've been able to collect over so many lifetimes. Okay, so it may feel, wow, my higher self's very, very powerful, but there's a reason that your soul incarnates over and over again, and it's through these experiences that you're able to really continue to evolve and expand, because maybe every lifetime I give you a little bit more new soul energy so you can like purify and get the idea of like, what is it like to be a little bit innocent. So what I want you to understand is your soul can shift. Your soul can shift. I can, sometimes even suggest, well, you know what, that part of your energy, that part of your soul really has been through too much trauma. It's really done with trauma. So let's let go of part of your soul. It's okay, but I will bring in more new energy. So we play around with the soul a little bit more, okay? So it's the soul that has to be healed. It's a higher self that has to be, kind of downloaded into your experience. But if you do that without the soul, you're not going to have all the gifts and talents and abilities that will make you very, very powerful in this incarnation. Okay, I'm never going to say I'm going to give you all of the power when you're unhealed, because say you had a lifetime where you really learned how to protect yourself by doing, you know, something very murderous, then as soon as I give you a gift and ability, if you haven't healed that, you may use your gifts and abilities to kill someone, and I'd rather you don't do that. So much more powerful for you to heal, and then you can have access to all your gifts and everything. You know, someone said recently, you know, is it possible, you know, or it's not possible that I would withhold anything, you know, that I'm always giving you everything all the time. It really isn't possible that I'm going to give you everything all the time. Sometimes I'm going to say, look, you got to heal first before you have something else available to you. So it could be, I'm going to say, you got to heal first before you meet your twin flame. Because you meet your twin flame before you're ready, and I'm talking about as a romantic connection or even as a platonic, but much more often a romantic connection, you're not going to know how to deal with your twin flame. In fact, you're going to try and deal with your twin flame, and actually you can't deal with your twin flame. You have to know that you're oneness. So if you're not one within yourself, very difficult to be one with your twin flame, yeah, because it's a oneness type of situation where you're going to have to know what oneness is. Okay, so a lot of things are not available until you've healed your soul, until you've allowed your higher self to be one with you. And then there's also other energies available that you're going to want to experience. And that's a very unique path that's for you. But in the end, you're going to want to bring oneness to all these different, I want to say, parts of yourself. But you're going to want to feel oneness between your soul and your higher self, and you know, whatever you're incarnated as now. And eventually that's going to lead you to say, you know what, I'm not this role that I birthed myself into. I'm actually all of these lifetimes, and actually I'm a divine being that has a completely different way of coming across. Yeah, there's no way, if you're doing this spiritual work and you're becoming who you really are meant to be, you're not just going to be one incarnation that had a lot of crap to work through. You're going to start accessing all these other lifetimes, but it's got to be, you can't just be like, oh, there was that lifetime and this lifetime. There has to be an element of oneness that brings it all together, that says, I don't need to recollect every single memory. Rather, I'm able to just use all the gifts to remember that I'm a divine being, and that I have my own identity as a divine being, and that it's possible to reconnect with that right now in this experience that we're going through as we move into a new earth. Okay, so I hope that that's very clear, that this distinction between the different parts of yourselves, and how we also want to become one within all of that, incarnated on earth as a new version of you. Okay, that's going to be experiencing the world in a very different way. Okay, so that's the difference. And I hope that makes a lot of sense to you. Would love to know how you feel about that. Do you have experiences of knowing that your higher self shines through, and suddenly you realize that you are just able to do things that maybe no one else can do? That's most likely your higher self suddenly came through and was like, oh, I can do this amazing thing that is very unique to me. That's most likely your higher self came through. Or maybe you started to reconnect with past life gifts, but maybe you're a little bit sometimes questioning them. That's because you're not quite healed, but you very much remember some of the gifts that you have available to you, and you're able to reconnect with those. But in the end, we want to have all the healing that's going to make you much more powerful, and to remember that you are someone else, someone new, that is trying to emerge through as a supreme being that is always available to magic all of the time. Okay, wishing you a wonderful pathway with understanding yourself.